I think when people talk about work-life balance, I think what they're trying to say is you're gonna shake the devil and be like, yeah, I want to sacrifice almost a decade of my life to build a career. I would have fun. I would go out. I would maybe once in 2 months. I will, because it's even expensive to go out. Have you been outside? Drinks are not 5k anymore. You know.
I do be outside sometimes, but
I feel judged already.
Hello, everyone. How are you? You're back. We're back like we never left.
But we did. We're back.
Briefly. And this is the Vivid Experience podcast with Sophie and
Nimat. Hello. Hiya.
Yeah, my God. Nimat has so much energy today.
I do, yeah.
I am exhausted already. Already.
Hashtag justice for me.
But
honestly.
yeah, okay.
I'm starting a campaign.
Let's talk about what we're talking about today first.
Yeah.
Then your campaign can,
Yeah.
full force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, there's this thing I hear, work-life balance. Like lots of books have been written about it. I'm like, it's not that easy though. It's not as easy as it
Have
sounds.
you read any book about it?
I said I've read there was lots of book about it.
You heard. Okay, sounds about accurate.
But I do think in real life it's not like so cut and dry. It is quite difficult, and I think it does. I personally think it doesn't exist. I think
So what is our topic exactly?
so today we're going to talk about the myth. I call it a myth. Don't drag me on social media, but we're going to talk about work-life balance and how to find it, not necessarily like a balance, but to adjust. I think I'll call it an adjustment, honestly. To adjust to the seasons in your life. Because, see, honestly, right, we live in a city that's always moving. You can't afford to be broke in a sense in Lagos. It demands a lot of you, right? And you spend a lot of that time working.
They say Lagos is the city of dreams.
No dream.
Nightmares.
Wait. We love Lagos. We love Lagos, actually. So we don't take that out of context. So we love Lagos.
They send you back to your village there.
But I do think I was listening to a podcast, right? And I think it was Jay Shetty with a guy named Scott.
Think Like a Monk.
Yeah, the podcast is on, I think, on purpose. So he was talking about how if you live in New York, to live a good life in New York, you need to make at least $1 million a year.
Didn't know
good
that.
Life, like
Folks
a good
in New
one,
York,
a
and you're
year.
living a terrible life.
To live in New York, live a really good life where
What
you
is
can live in
It's
the
so
high rise
subjective.
and not, basically have a nice car, have a nice house, be able to pay your
You want to drive in New York.
well, be able to afford all the luxuries, whatnot.
Okay.
But my point is, he was saying you need a lot more money compared to like a rural city, like a different city, and you need to get to a point in your life where you sort of decide and make peace. Especially as a young person, you say, I want to live in a city that's going to demand a lot of me. I'm going to be ready to sacrifice maybe a decade, sometimes up to a decade, to really get to where you want to be, and that's the truth.
When you say sacrifice, again, it's such a big word. What are you sacrificing in that moment?
Your time.
And I do hope it's not the joy of life.
No. I'm saying, okay, hold on. Let me give you context. If we lived in a different city, right, we would definitely make less money, right? And our expenses would be less too, right? And we have time. Actually, we can actually hear the birds singing because, you can actually see the color of the sky and you're not rushing out and stuck in traffic for 7 hours. Those things are less, so you have more time to sort of enjoy. But the downside is not so many opportunities come to you as opposed to living in a high power city like Lagos. So in a way, there's a sacrifice there. So I think when people talk about work-life balance, I think what they're trying to say is you have to get to a point where you make your choice and you make your peace with your choice. Like, you're going to shake the devil and be like, yeah, I want to sacrifice almost a decade of my life to build a career. I would have fun. I would go out. I would maybe once in 2 months. Because it's even expensive to go out. Have you been outside? Drinks are not 5k anymore.
I do be outside sometimes, but
I feel judged already. So people know. I'm being judged.
I'm not even judging.
She knows what she's doing.
Wow,
Toxic
this is toxic kindness again.
but I'm saying
Justice for Sophie then.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, you need to understand, like, if you want to go out to Lagos, you have to have money. Like, you have to spend money. You would Uber there, you would buy drinks, you would buy a meal. Even to hang out with your friends is costly now. Like, coming out to a Zoom call, you know, it's the price you pay for living here, because you do have opportunities, but you can't do it every single time, because work takes a lot of your life, especially in a place like Lagos where everything is really intense. I get overwhelmed sometimes. Okay.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, I've ranted enough.
Thank you very much. I always love these rant sessions. So I think balance is different for different people. Balance as a word, the social word, so to speak, might mean for you once in a month. For another person with a different personality, and you have a fantastic personality, but you know what I mean when I'm talking about personalities, the people that require a good amount of outside to function, that balance is also different. My own perspective is, whatever it is that you do, whether you're chasing work or you're chasing family, just make sure that the full core of yourself is fulfilled in some way. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So what does work-life balance mean for me? I love where I work. I love what I do. I don't want to do it 24 hours in a day.
Obviously not. We're not robots. We're not there yet, right?
I also don't think that doing it 24 hours in a day makes me a better person or a better career woman. Okay?
Yeah.
And I need to take breaks frequently during the day, more than people know. Whether it is a dance break, it is.
You take a dance break or what?
I do take dance breaks, yes. And
I
now
went to
y'all
the office one day.
Now y'all know my secret. I go to the restroom and I am dancing.
Like you that? Yeah.
Yes.
Go on, guys. No, I'm not unpacking that. I'm not tempted.
You're a great son. I'm not gonna let you. Whether it is after work, I'm going to cook, or I'm going out, or I'm going to have dinner with my friends. I mean, look.
You never invite me to those things.
That is a lie from the pit of hell. Pictures will prove us wrong. But anywho, my point is, and I know that I'm extremely privileged to say this, but a great part of my work-life balance is also living.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
like taking actually going on a vacation.
Oh, okay. That type.
Living the state. Living in the country.
Living the confines of the city.
Yeah, living whatever it is that I see as my routine into something else. And maybe that's why people think I'm an adrenaline junkie, which is not a lie.
You are. So here's the thing that I think I have an issue with is, you're right. We both are speaking from a place of privilege. I can't even understate that enough, right? But I think sometimes one thing that bums me when I go out is I see people, especially young people starting their career, they're already tired. It breaks my soul.
I was tired when I started my career. Why is it breaking your soul?
Because I feel like, I don't know, can it be easier? I know what you're going to say. But can we have a system that's actually easier, where people are not breaking their necks and their souls? I know it's important, like you build something, but I just wish we had a system. I know this someone's going to say, and this is so idealist of me, and it is. Like I said, I'm speaking from a point of privilege, right? But when I see, because imagine someone just comes to Lagos and you just pack all your things, you finish school, you come to Lagos, you start an internship position, your salary is like 50k or 100k max. That's really not transport fare enough. Then you close from work, and then by the time you get home, it's like 9 p.m. Then you have to go to work the next day. You have to wake up around 4. Where's the time? Imagine doing that for like a year before you even get to a good position, and then you can then start buying things, or maybe you get a better job. But it takes time, and my worry is we should not just throw around the word of like, oh, find your balance, especially when people are still in the starting phases. Because
how did you balance in your starting phase?
My starting phase was very ghetto. No lie.
How did you find the small moments?
I didn't.
To breathe.
I didn't. Okay. I ran on fumes for like almost 4 years.
Are you absolutely sure that there were not
so
small glimmers?
Okay, so here's
like
the thing.
What you would do to unwind after a work day.
Here's the thing, right? I have a supreme leader, right? And
we love the supreme leader.
Yes, supreme leader. And she took a lot of time because she was younger then. And by the time I finished survive all the people of Lagos and get into the house, she needs attention. I'm falling asleep even trying to care for her, and my alarm goes off at 4, and I'm back again, and I drop her off at school, and I go to work, and I come back, and I cook. I'm like, there wasn't time. The weekends, I'm like, oh, let's buy ice cream. Let's sit down. Actually, what's happening? I think I would say weekends were sort of my time.
Those were your small glimmers.
Yeah, and then holidays too, like public holidays. I love public holidays. Even to now, I still do. But like, why? But like, they were, but it wasn't a really good way to live. So I'm saying, and in that time, someone come to me and say, "Oh, I need to find more time." Like, I'm stone them with my shoe.
No. So
because that's a very harsh reality I'm living at that time.
Cool. Okay. Well, I don't have a supreme leader. But I remember when I first started out, it was definitely, now it's a lot more easier than what it was then, right? I had to wake up 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. to get ready for work, make the drive, because if I had missed that window, it would take me 2.5 hours to get to the office. I was living outside of Lagos. They like to call it the outskirts. And I did have a lot of help, and that's the thing. And I think that it's important that we smell the roses, because I studied engineering, right? School is pretty much regimented, and you have to find glimmers to make it exciting for you, otherwise you'll burn out. Right? So I remember back from school, when I was in school, what I would do to unwind after a day. When I'm in traffic, okay, there was no traffic in school. I went to private school. We were literally walking back and forth. But my point is, like, watch an episode of The Office and shut out the world.
Okay.
It's a funny show. Don't shit on The Office.
Modern Family is better, but okay.
Okay, we're not even going to compare. Right? We will not end this argument today. I love Modern Family, but it also has its place, and let's not keep them.
But The Office.
Okay, but like my point is, and I realized that there was an important element that I needed in school that helped, and that was community. And so I wanted to make sure that was important when I started, my career. So when I was to spend an hour in a week, and I look forward to these things, right? I actually have them marked in my calendar, to talk to a friend from school, to talk to a mentor, or talk to family, and not even talk about like, oh, how long goes it in traffic?
Meaningless conversations actually.
Yes, and actually say, like, when they say, how are you? You're gonna say, oh, I'm fine, and it's just like, automatic. I'm not fine. I'm tired. I was sleeping in that meeting. and I think this was my own form of balance then. You know what I mean? And now my understanding of balance has changed again. This kind of like a rebalance with who I am today, because again, remember that we're growing and we're changing and we're evolving. And I think the important thing is for you to always stop to smell the roses. So if you're having a burnout, like all you're seeing is work for 4 years, I am in awe of you. I will not survive. They would have to take me kicking and screaming.
Okay, so I would say my own advice would be, I mean, on some level, I agree. Balance is different for everybody. At the same time, I also understand that not a lot of people, like majority of people, can't even afford to smell the roses, because there's so many concerns. Money is a big part of everything that we do.
There are things you can do for free.
No. I know. I'm saying not even going out.
That give you like, joy.
No. Hold on. Here's what I mean, right?
Okay.
Like, their minds already sort of locked in on that work and figuring everything out, and life throws you curveballs too. So whatever curveballs they're dealing with themselves, with their family, with their friends, it's already overwhelming for them. So I think my advice would be, it's okay. I would say it's okay if you can't stop and smell the roses. I wish you could, but I also understand that you can't, maybe in that time and season in your life, it's really, there's no time to smell roses. However, I would say that just delulu yourself into it. Like, imagine the possible brightest future. That's actually what kept me sane. I imagined I would always have better. Like, I was going to be stuck in this particular job I didn't like for a while. Like, I was gonna get the F out of that place. I was. And when I would go to work and I'll hit my target and I'll do my work, it's like, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. That's the one thing. Because I wanted to give myself and Supreme Leader a better life. So that's the one, like a small postcard of the dream life that I would have. That was the one thing that kept me going. So even if I didn't stop to smell the roses enough, I had that. So I think my advice to people who are trying to figure it out with the balance thing, like...
I do have a question, because we've had friends or social acquaintances that have this kind of perspective you've just said.
Yeah.
And what I always believe is whatever you do with the little you have is what you're going to do with the big when you get it. If you cannot manage your commitments and your time and regulate in the sense that you feel like you have some sort of balance, you're giving and taking back when you are growing. When you're growing, it's not going to be any easier. All of the things that you skipped out on learning, they're going to compile and match when you get there. And then it's going to be huge what you have to overcome.
And I think that's a risk people are actually willing to take.
I get that, but then at that time, you're going to be with people. You're going to be involved with people, platonically or otherwise, that have done the work. And what they're now going to want to do is do the work with you, which is really unfair. Or you push them away.
Fair.
So like, eventually...
Everybody speak to your therapist. Everybody, if you can't afford therapist, ask ChatGPT now. That's our new therapist.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
If you skip a very interesting element of life,
yeah,
you will meet it in front. So I know that people are ready to take on that challenge and, you know, bargain that way. I understand it. I'm not perfect. There are many parts of my life that I have done that. And I am seeing, and I'm doing the work now, and I'm like, gosh, I wish I did it 6 years ago when I had less things to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So on a lighter note, how do you balance being a hello, warm regards, Timmy, and a we're gonna paint this town red? Yeah, how do you balance the differences? Being like that person.
I don't understand your question.
So how do you balance your professional persona of hello, pleased to meet you, warm regards, can I see your screen, on Monday to Friday, to your Saturday and Sunday, now we get these Lagos Oblate vibes? How do you do that?
I don't know these vibes you're
She's
talking
lying.
about.
She did lie. Like, I'm going to speak with you English. She did lie.
It's not coming.
Now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I will say my own day.
Yes.
Okay, maybe that will inspire you to tell the truth. So, well, Monday to Fridays I'm ready, or weekdays or work days I'm sort of locked in that work mode. So I have that regimen or routine of like, I'm gonna just go to work today. The week is going to fly by, and my work is going to be done. And when it's Saturday, I really don't want to be outside, but I find that that's the time I can actually read a book. I've not read Dream Count, but that's the time I can actually read. It's putting out there in the universe. Please, somebody give me I will buy a copy of Dream Count. But I find time to read, like catch up on TV and everything, and then pray and all of those things. So that's how I find balance and differences between being like, hello Steven, send me my work Monday to Friday, and then also being a different person. Yeah. So you can answer with honesty now. This is a very long episode, guys. Thank you.
I take the little moments whenever they come.
God, HR answer.
I take the moments
Guys,
as they come.
You know what?
I'm serious. Y'all that know me know this, right? If I have work to do, then we get the work done, right? It's imperative. But the minute I smell a glimmer, I'm a run. I'll give you an example. I was on a work trip, and it was a Tuesday, I remember. And we had spent, because of the layovers, and it was also our first time in the country, more than 24 hours traveling, right? And we had to get to ground and base, you know, because when you're on work trips, at least for my company, the work doesn't stop. You're still expected to be online. So answered the mails, we had an event in the night, it ended at 11, and I remember I was talking to my colleagues, I was like, are we going to the club? It was and then the answer was, it's a Tuesday, Soph. I'm like, so it opens.
Okay.
And we went and we had a great time.
I think if it was me in that position, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna go sleep now.
That's the thing. I'm just taking the little glimmers as they come.
That's really beautiful.
And I look back at that time and I just look at it with such fun memory.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Because if we have to wait until work is done, it's the end of the week before we have fun, then we're just pausing on life. We shouldn't need to.
I don't know. Everybody, please, we cannot argue on this one. Do what works for you. Do what works for you.
Well, that's all from our side, folks. Thank you for listening. Thank you in advance for subscribing, for liking. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Mwah.